Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.
Love the echo.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the Town of Pownal Select Board meeting to order August 11th at 6:01 p.m. Board member roll call.
Angie Rowling.
Amy Percy. Brian Harris.
Mike Gardner.
Bob Vignette.
Bob's muted right now.
Yeah, he's in, but his, I'm not sure what's going on.
Maybe if we all wave frantically at Bob, he'll realize we're on.
Camera's not on either. Oh, there he is.
I'm sorry about that, everybody.
Okay,
We thought you were eating.
let's do a board member roll call.
Bob Jarvis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Mike Gardner. Sorry, I had to mute for a minute. All right, approval of the agenda. Public comment, approval of minutes of July 27th, minutes of August 4th, special select board meeting. Warrants, payroll August 5th, payroll August 12th, accounts payable August 5th, accounts payable New Town Hall August 6th, accounts payable August 12th. Correspondence, excess weight permits, old business, River Road 15-minute presentation, the tax rate, public comment, and adjourn. I don't believe there's any excess weight permits. We can cross that off. I don't think we have any old business either, do we, Tara?
I don't think so. We have to add two executives, though.
Huh?
One for litigation and one for salary increase.
So one, add an executive for legal and add an executive for personnel.
Yes.
Okay, let's add those after the tax rate.
Okay.
We'll do the legal first and then the personnel.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the added executives and taking off excess weight in old business.
Angie, so moved.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. I'll open up public comment. Any public comment, Hannah?
Nope.
Approval of minutes of July 27th.
Angie, so moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike abstain. Minutes of August 4th.
So moved, Angie.
Second it.
Any discussion, corrections? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Payroll, August 5th, 2022.
I send you amounts. Can you read them?
Oh, I'm getting there, hang on.
Sure.
Sorry. August 5th, 13,564.18.
Make a motion, we approve. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie, Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Payroll August 12th, 11,696.64.
So moved.
Any
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable August 5th, 11,640.27.
Angie, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. New Town Hall, August 6th, $14,117.98.
Angie, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Accounts payable August 12th, $62,607.93.
Angie, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor, Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. No correspondence? Oh, no, we do have a correspondence, don't we?
Yes, you do. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You want to take care of that? Tara, I don't have it right here in front of me, obviously. Can you just read that, please?
Be fun. Nothing like putting me on the spot.
Sorry. My plan was to be tested negative and being down there with a mask, okay? That was my plan.
I know what your plan was, but.
Obviously it failed.
Okay, so we have a letter from Roland Hall. I just want to make sure I got the name right. Yeah. To the selectmen of the town of Pownal, Vermont. In July 2020, the town of Pownal contracted with Wilk Paving to blacktop Puddingstone Road West in the first part of Puddingstone Road. My wife and I were not in Pownal in 2020 because we were at high risk for COVID complications. So we sheltered in place and didn't return to Pownal until July 2021. When we returned, we saw that part of Puddingstone Road had been paved and that all the houses with paved driveway received a paved apron connection to the newly paved road, namely 18 Puddingstone Road, 134 Puddingstone Road, 199 Puddingstone Road, 295, 304, 60 Puddingstone Rest, 203 Puddingstone Road Rest. The only two exceptions were my property at 241 Puddingstone Road and 218 Puddingstone Road, which at the time of blacktopping was vacant and listed for sale. I went to the town hall and explained my problem. The receptionist left word for the road foreman, Joel Burrington, to call me. When he called me, I asked him why my paved driveway and separated paved parking area was not connected with paved access to the newly paved road like all other properties. He said no one was living there. Then I said, I'm living here now. Are you going to pave it? And he said no. A few weeks later, in August 2021, the remainder of Puddingstone Road was being paved. Since all the equipment was nearby and hoping for an easy fix, I called the town hall and was referred to Michael Gardner. I spoke with Michael and he came out and met with me and Joel at the top of the driveway. Joel then used the excuse that my paved driveway was separated paved parking area did not come all the way to the street. I knew that this wasn't true, so I got a shovel and dug through the gravel and showed that there was paving. Joel still refused to pave it. Last summer, after I left Pownal, I found out that Wilk Paving had the contract for the 2020 paving of Puddingstone Road with the town of Pownal. I emailed Steve Wilk, the president of the company, asking for an explanation as to why there is no paved connection made. He replied, we were directed to pave by the town. This could be as simple as paved driveways received a paved apron and gravel driveways received gravel aprons. Apparently, Joel Burrington directed them not to put a paved apron on my driveway and separate paved parking area or the unoccupied property at 218 Puddingstone Road. This is unfair. Just because a property was unoccupied at the time of paving is not a good reason to withhold the same benefits given to neighboring occupied properties. Each property owner pays property taxes and should be afforded the same benefits. My parents purchased this property in 1978 and I inherited it in 2007. My family has been supporting the town of Pownal for 44 years, paying property taxes to the town of Pownal, probably contributing in excess of $125,000. I am requesting that the selectmen approve a motion that the gravel put on my driveway and separate parking area at 241 Puddingstone Road be removed and replaced by a paved apron to Pudding Stone Road. To be fair, the same should apply to 218 Pudding Stone Road. The timing of this can occur when there is another paving project in the town of Pownal. Thank you for your consideration, Roland and Becky Hall. So he had attached pictures, and Mike, I believe you've seen those pictures.
I have, yep.
And I spoke with Joel, who provided a picture. Did you see the picture that Joel sent also?
Yeah, I did.
That shows space in between the road and the driveway.
I apologize, I didn't have that correspondence in front of me, Tara.
I need practice.
I have seen the pictures, I read the letter, I did meet with Mr. Hall. Joel and I met up there when they were paving, Pudding Stone, the second portion. He did grab a shovel. He did dig out, some gravel and some grass and some dirt and so on and so forth. When, in all fairness to Joel and Wilk, when they paved it the first time, the aprons that are paved on the other portions of other driveways and property owners, they're paved because of a water problem. That's why those aprons are done, is to divert the water from going into people's houses. Take care of that situation. There was no way that the town knew without digging down several inches, and I apologize, I don't remember exactly, but it wasn't just below the surface, it was 5-6 inches down. And I believe the picture that Joel has shows that there was grass on,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, there was grass on that driveway. That's why they gravelled it in. The same goes with the parking area. We gave Mr. Hall sort of a solution when we were there, if I remember correctly, was that he could talk to Wilk, and if he wanted to pay for them to go ahead and blacktop his apron, that, you know, as far as the town was concerned, and, you know, but it would come out of Mr. Hall's pocket, so to speak, but it would be at the rate that the town paid, not a normal contracted rate, so to speak. And I don't know what happened with that. I don't know if Mr. Hall spoke to Mr. Wilk. I don't know if you know, whoever was in charge for Wilk, I don't know if they refused. I really don't know what the results were. I know that Joel and I, and I met with him within a couple hours of the first time that I was informed of a problem up there. So I think, and Joel was right behind me. I mean, he was minutes behind me. So, you know, within a couple hours, we were up there meeting with Mr. Hall. And like I said, we gave him that option to approach Wilk Paving and go from there.
Comment? I'm Roland Hall. Mike, thank you for coming up there and taking a look at the driveway. I did talk to the person that was doing the paving further when they were paving last year, and they wouldn't do anything. They didn't want to do anything. As far as grass being between the paved driveway and the road, the reason I put grass there is because I have a downsloping driveway, and when it rained, all the dirt would flow down into my property. That's the reason I put grass there, so that dirt wouldn't come down to my property. Now, if I had been there, I would have taken the grass out, and you would have seen that the asphalt did go all the way to the street. Again, the only reason I put grass there was to prevent the gravel from coming down my property. And I really think that you should consider paving it, because you paved they put a paved apron into everybody else's property.
Would you agree, Mr. Hall? I apologize that I'm on Zoom, but you know, I tested positive, so here I am. Would you agree that when Joel and I met with you that day, that the asphalt portion of your driveway was several inches below the surface and below the surface of the asphalt on the road? Would you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. But that's because the road was high.
Yeah, no, I
That's
just
because
want
you-
to make sure we're on the same page, sir, that's all.
You probably put 4 to 6 inches of asphalt on the road.
I think what he's asking is it was below the,
I guess the question that I'm asking, Mr. Hall, is when you grabbed your shovel from your garage and irrelevant to the road and the gravel that Joel added to your driveway, because that was put in there, the existing grass below what the town added to your driveway, it was still several inches below the grass level to the blacktop, to the asphalt in your driveway. If I remember correctly, it was 4 or 5 inches, and the total distance from the top of the surface from what the town added to the asphalt was probably like 8 or 9 inches, if I remember correctly. And I may be wrong. I don't. It was a while ago.
Well, there was no lip prior to asphalt. There was no lip from my driveway to the dirt road. There wasn't like a big bump. You know, it was smooth.
Is your driveway paved or is it dirt?
Paved.
By looking at this picture, if I don't do asphalt, but if I was out there doing asphalt, I would see this grass and I'd think, well, they don't want it to the road. And I would assume that, and since you weren't there, I think their decision was correct at the time because there is grass there that you had planted.
Well, again.
And I think they were respecting your wishes by not having it to the road.
Well, I wish somebody would have called me. Again, the reason that I put the grass there was because it's a steep downslope. Whenever it rained, the dirt, the mud would run right down the asphalt and pile up down at the end of the.
And I understand that. And if they did put an apron in, the same thing would happen.
No, because it's asphalt now. I don't mind water. I just mind the mud.
So I guess I've got a couple of questions. I don't think there's any dispute that there was grass and that you had to dig down in order to get to it. I think what I heard, and other than the letter, I don't know anything about it other than what I'm hearing tonight. But I think what I heard was it wasn't that every house got asphalt. It was that those houses with water problems got asphalt. Is that correct?
That's what it sounds like.
Well, I don't think it was water problems. It was everybody that had an asphalt driveway got an asphalt apron between the new asphalt road and their property.
Can I ask you why you put the gravel and the grass seed there on top of the blacktop in the first place? If the blacktop met the road level?
Well, it was dirt. Okay, before they paved, it was dirt. I put the grass there because whenever it rained, the dirt would come down my driveway. I wasn't there when they paved because of COVID. If I had been there, I would have removed the grass because I planted grass right on top of the asphalt, just so that it would stop the erosion and stop the mud from coming down to my driveway. Same thing with the parking area. And it wasn't a water problem that they paved, because if you go up there and look at the streets, there's not a water problem. They just paved they just put a paved apron in the properties that had asphalt, with the exception of my property and the property that was vacant and listed for sale.
I think they paved, what they did was they did pave properties that had asphalt driveways, and they used gravel, dirt on driveways that had dirt driveways.
That's correct.
And I'm looking at the Google map picture here, and that clearly shows a section of grass leading up to an asphalt driveway. Is that?
Yeah, I don't dispute it. I planted the grass there for a reason, to keep the dirt from coming down on my property.
How many feet does your blacktop end before the road?
It was right up to the dirt road.
Okay.
And I probably put a 6-inch barrier. I dug up sod from,
Yeah, I see it.
I have an asphalt, not an asphalt, a concrete walkway. And I edged along here and pieced it all together, and so that it wouldn't, again, I wouldn't get the mud down in my property.
You weren't getting the road erosion.
Right.
Okay.
And again, there was no, I mean, there was no bump getting up onto the road. I mean, it was obviously an upslope,
Taper, yeah.
but yeah, there wasn't a 8-inch drop from my asphalt driveway to the dirt road. I mean, it was smooth transition.
I just wanted to make sure that I understand everything. And I'm just going to repeat it out because I think I do understand. Prior to doing any work on the road, the top of your driveway was flush with the road. Then after the work on the road, you now have an 8-inch drop. The town didn't put in a asphalt apron. It sounds like it was because we didn't realize that it was an asphalt apron on your driveway. It appeared to be dirt because of the sod, which all makes sense. And then I'm sorry, I'm just speaking a little bit fast so I can make sure that I understand everything and get through it all. So I'm not clear on why. I guess I am clear on why we didn't do it to begin with. But I also heard that there was an offer made to that you could put it in that you could put at the town's rate while the asphalt while the road pavers were there. There was an option to actually put it in at the town's rate, right? And that I guess was that rejected outright, or it didn't seem fair or whatever?
Well, there was nothing put in writing. It was talked about. When I talked to the pavers, they didn't want to do it. They were done for the day and they were gone.
Okay. And then
Joel didn't do anything about it.
And we've talked to Joel since receiving the letter, correct? I guess.
Yes.
And he's still of the opinion that we shouldn't be doing anything here.
Right, because it was grass at the time.
I believe that, and I don't remember this for 100% positivity, but I believe that Joel did speak to, and I don't know if it was Wilk himself or whatever, but whoever the foreman was on the job for the day, I believe Joel spoke to them and told them that if they could come to an agreement with Mr. Hall, then it was fine to go ahead and pave it at Mr. Hall's expense. I'm not 100% positive, but I'm pretty sure that happened.
Well, when I went and talked to the foreman, he didn't say anything. When I talked to the foreman, he didn't say anything about Joel talking to him about doing that.
I'm pretty sure that he did, but there again, I'm not 100% positive.
Do we know?
I followed Joel down to, when we met at the driveway and discussed that, Joel went down to talk to him, and then I followed probably about 3 or 4 minutes later. And when I got there and talked to the foreman, he wasn't going to do anything.
Do we know how much cost we're talking about for the town?
Oh, no.
No.
And we don't know what and obviously we don't know what the differential would be, right? How much it would cost to do it on the at the town's expense versus versus the owner's expense. We don't know that because we don't know how much it would cost.
Right.
I think that's probably something worthy of asking. And if I heard it correctly in the letter, it's if we decide that this is what we want to do, and I'm not advocating one way or the other, he's willing to wait for the next time we're doing a paving project rather than bring someone in to specifically just do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just gonna play devil's advocate, and I mean, judging from the evidence that has been shown, we all know that we respect people's properties, and that if you had come home and saw part of your driveway, if you actually planted that grass because you were away and you wanted that grass there, and then you came home and it wasn't there, then you would possibly be coming to the town for that reason. I'm just, and that's
Again,
why
let me
we
just,
don't take and go beyond our boundaries when we see something like this.
let me just state again that the only reason the grass was there was because there was dirt.
Right.
If the dirt was gone, there would be no reason for the grass to be there.
Right.
I understand your position, but I'm just,
Foreman didn't know that.
right, as part of our road foreman and the people that were doing the work.
To me, that was a good point because Jamie, because I mean, if you weren't the homeowner and somebody else wanted their grass there, then they could become complaining about having changed it. So, and you kind of have, the road crew has to make the call while they're there, or the pavers have to make the call while they're there.
Right.
That's just kind of explaining how we got here.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe do we need to find out? Would it help us to find out how much it would actually cost the town to do the apron the next time we have pavers in town?
Well, we can ask Joel when that section road is due to be on the schedule.
Well, I that section of the road, I guess, would be
Well,
quite phased out, right?
Puddingstone Road is completely paved now, so there's no more paving to be done on that road.
There might not be any more paving this year.
But like a nearby road or a road to be paved so that we have pavers in the area. We could find out from Joel how much we think that would cost. And I think we just need to have the costs in front of us to make an informed decision is what I believe.
I think I'm gonna agree with Jamie on this whole situation because I was there. I went to the property. It was not evident to anybody that there was an asphalt apron. It was evident that there was a grass apron coming from Mr. Hall's property to the road.
I don't think that's in dispute, though. I think everything agrees with it.
Well, right. So that therefore, why would we infringe and blacktop someone's apron on their driveway when they have a grass apron? We would do the dirt and whatever, the same as what they had, because Mr. Hall is absolutely correct. It did put a 3 or 4 inch lip by the time you put your base coat and top coat, so they made it so it wasn't a vertical bump back into the road. I think we could look into it. I think cost would be for the town at this point to, unless, like you said, Bob, unless we're in the area, but I mean, to have someone go up there even next year if we weren't paving in the area. And I have no idea, and I don't think Joel knows where he wants to go next year. Maybe he does. But I think we're done paving for this particular year. I think they finished up the other day. And maybe next year they're up on Niles School Road or wherever. I don't know. I have no idea where he's going. And like I said, I don't know if he does. I'm sure he probably has a plan. We could certainly look into it for that, portion of it. Excuse me, but to have someone go back into and do it, I think would be a pretty significant cost,
Well, yeah, and the cost is what I'm afraid of, right? And that's why
Right.
I'd like to know what it is,
Right.
what it would be to have somebody go in there and do it versus have them do it while they're in town and in the area. And then when on the schedule, but from the homeowner, it seemed he was willing to work on that and willing to wait if that would bring the cost down.
I am willing to wait. I'm willing to wait. The gravel does erode. I've had to, keeps on sliding down the hill, so I've had to move it up. So it's, again, I don't mind waiting till next year or even the following year if that's what it takes. But I would like to get it done. I feel that would be the fair thing to do.
Do we feel that we need to have the costs in order to make that decision?
Oh, I think that's a great
Or
idea.
at least an estimate.
That's right. An estimated cost would be wonderful.
And I, from my standpoint, I think I would like to see two costs. What would it cost to actually hire somebody to come in and do it versus how much would it cost incrementally that they were in town anyway and we added it to their list?
Mm-hmm. I agree with that totally.
And I think we also need to talk to Joel. I mean, I think we really need to support his decision and back him up. And I think at this time, by looking at the picture, his decision was correct. And it wasn't just his decision, it was the company that was also doing the blacktopping.
If it wasn't grass and it was just gravel, I would say then they should have paved it.
Right.
But the fact that there was grass, I do agree, like, how do you know the property owner didn't do that because they didn't want to be connected for whatever reason?
Right, exactly. So I just want to say that we really should talk to Joel and we should support our employees and their decisions and the people that we hire. But I'm fine with getting the prices.
Yes, moving forward.
And moving forward, we're getting the prices and then making a decision. But as I'm looking at this picture, I think the decision was correct. I'm sorry, sir.
That's fine. Just case in point, the house across the street, I think it was 180, whatever that, 214 or the house that was vacant and wasn't paved, that had an asphalt driveway. There was no grass and he put gravel there. It was vacant, it was for sale, and that's what he did.
Okay.
And I would like to just mention that I don't think anybody here has said anything that implicates that the town did anything wrong or that the homeowner did anything wrong.
No.
This was it looks to me like a legitimate misunderstanding based on the circumstances. There's certainly valid reason to put grass there to keep the mud from coming down into your driveway.
Had you complained to the road crew foreman that your driveway was getting washed out and damaged before you put the grass there? That way he would have been aware of it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
But no, I didn't. But it was obvious that,
So we will move forward and look into this and then we probably should have an answer within I would say a month, right?
Would hope.
Yeah, we would hope and
all right.
we'll get back to you.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming in.
Have a nice evening, Saul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is River Road, a 15-minute presentation.
There was no old business, correct? You skipped over this?
No, we took that and weight permits.
Okay, sorry.
Could you be able to allow me to share it?
I want to get him over here.
Excuse me. Bum, 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 bum.
Is River Road in here? No, they are, right?
They are.
They are.
They're here in
We're sitting off to the side.
Who wants to get it in frame?
Now you pay.
Now that
Come on over.
it's mentioned. Trying to share, but he's not allowing us to share.
Yeah, you have to take in,
Yeah, you might
you
have
have to request it first, but then,
Yeah, he's already.
okay. And then you have to go in and,
Where does she see it? Do you know?
Hold on. Jamie Percy, tech support on his way.
Good old technology. Does not always make life easier.
Zooming right in on you too.
nope.
That's.
Good old, like, just fashion, just brought a whiteboard with
There you go.
hand-drawn slides.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's way to go.
It's like in kindergarten.
Yep. You have to choose a person, I think. Where's he at?
Yeah, share screen,
Yeah, he clicked it and said
because I,
host needs to share the screen.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble, Tara. Here comes Tara. Or Hannah, here comes Tara.
Oh, it works.
There we go.
There we go.
You got it, Toyota.
Presence made it work. It's scary.
that's how it works here, you know? Right.
You rule the rules.
So you want to start?
Sure, yeah. Introduce each other and.
Yeah, I'm Chris Willett. This is Roman Nemeth. We are colleagues in this micro hydro company. We met through just a project I was working on in Brattleboro. Roman has a tech background and kind of engineering and has good ideas. I am business background, operations. I get stuff done, especially with my commercial real estate background. I've got a lot of connections with contractors and things like that. So Roman had a great idea to, with all the crazy things going on in the world, especially energy being very important, it's being pushed in our faces all the time, whether it's positive or negative, there is a need for renewable energy, right? Solar is great, wind's great, but water is better because we always have water here. Even in a drought, there is still plenty of flow here in Vermont, and water is running all year round, even underneath that 8 inches of ice. So it's constantly spinning a turbine and producing energy. Whereas, it's not always windy. The winters here kill us with the sun and solar. So we linked up with a company and who makes these. They're located in Belgium because there's no company in the US that makes micro hydropower turbines, believe it or not. So we kind of have a partnership, an exclusive partnership with them, and we are working together with various locations in the state of Vermont. First we look at the water data provided by the government to see what has a proper flow. And we're just right now, we're going to either private homeowners or town municipalities who own that piece of land that would allow us access to that waterway. That's kind of what the stepping stone is here, because there's a mountain of paperwork we need to submit to the state and the federal government. And this is one of the first steps. It's just, does this property owner allow you to have access? And then they'll come out for a site visit and go, yeah, cool, this is a great location, or we don't really love this location, let's go on to your next spot. And that's kind of where we're at. And then Roman has a slideshow of just, a lot of the details and some nitty gritty, nothing too boring, just a quick overview of what they look like, how they function, things like
The
that.
micro plant meets the EPA or.
It's a lot of agencies involved. To start with, ANR, the Public Utility Commission.
Temperature rating and all that.
Oh, yeah.
In water.
There is a number of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot, yeah.
So to start with, it's that's the first step is get the permit to build anything on the water. Water is controlled by the government, federal, state. The shores are mixed bag between state government, federal government, and private owners. They own the land. And the regulation was happening in that river that it's up to federal and state governments. And that's the permitting process. And I mentioned the big ones are FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and ANR, the Agency of Natural Resources, the Public Utility Commission, and then NEPA. There is some other related to indigenous people checking their sites if there are nothing to touch there. There's a laundry list of many things. So the whole process for regular dam, power plant, hydropower plant is about 3 years. Just the permitting, you have to provide all sorts of pile of stuff. So what we came up with, and that kind of fits the landscape of Vermont and some other states in New England, is you have many smaller rivers, and it's called the technology called the runoff river. So using the run of the river, so you don't stop the water, create a dam, and then flush the water through turbines and all that, and you have continuous spinning on the turbines because it's moving as the river is moving. If you have dam, you fill it the dam and then flush it, you have few hours of generation and then you have to wait till it fills up again. So this is run of the river, that's the term. And with our scenarios here, we don't have much higher elevations difference in the rivers. They're relatively flat or low. And so these turbines with the new technologies are built such for low elevation and slow flow. And the reason is you have big elevation, you have big kinetic power of the water, which spins the turbines, and you need to generate 60 hertz or 120 or 220 volts to phase about 3,600 RPMs, which is a lot. So then there are these new technologies with inverters for this particular type is about 100 RPMs. So which allows also the fish and other critters to flow through if necessary. Although through the regulation, you have to arrange about 20 so many percent of the water to go through the river so the fish can freely flow up and down. But if somebody gets trapped, get busy spinning there for a second and flushes down and it's all good. So that's why we can utilize the technologies using also inverters and some other electrical technologies to generate the electricity in this kind of environment. At the same time, and I will keep scrolling down. At the same time, you see the text. It's called vortex. As you know, in the bottle, you spin the bottle and create this vortex. So the speed of the water drive the turbine. So the water is navigated such there's in the basin, the whirlpool basin, and in the middle of it is the generator turbine. And as it spins and there's one unit is the turbine and the generator together, and just wires sticking out to go either to storage the batteries or through the inverters grid. So there are multiple versions how to hook it up. You can hook it up to your house or company or whatever enterprise, or you can just hook it up to the grid. We have worked and talked to and planned to in Brattleboro actually with the Green Mountain Power to do such thing on their Whetstone Brook and talk to the Green Mountain Power. They're all for it. And how that happened, and I don't know, it might be your situation here in Brattleboro, in the West Brattleboro, they have a mobile park and it's kind of in flood zone and there's a lot of flood and the tree is falling over and power company has problems to keep it up in such situation. A number of older people live there is about 300 units in there. And they have their medical devices. And so there was the complaint and the electricity goes out for days at the time. So Green Mountain Power wants to build a huge storage there, like 2 megawatts electrical storage. Technically what they're building is what they call a resiliency zone or microgrid. The 3 things you need for microgrid: the consumer, the storage, and something feeding the storage. So we agreed with the Green Mountain Power, we would buy the Western Group build a smaller one, power the storage so they can connect the neighborhood there. So that would be another scenario how to use this. To building one is a lot of things involved, starting with finding the proper locations. And I actually do
have a location in Pownal.
Yeah, as you can see, I'm just scanning. A longer story there. We have a software with the machine learning scanning through Google Earth the landscape, and through that it detects where are the rivers. Through a connection to USGS information about water levels, and there are the gauging station which provide that information down to the seconds or minutes or what it is, and through calculations. And the measurements, every pixel is like 30 centimeters or so. By the calculations, you figure out where are the possibilities. Then the step 2 is figure it out. You have to go physically there to see it and to take pictures and have the exact topology. I'm flying drone to create the topology with the software also, so it gets nice, like you have surveyors. So you have this through the drones and kind of thing. So and then we have a set of engineers in Belgium, and they through CAD figure out what would be the best design to do on that particular spot.
Just to tell you what size basically
suited
for that area.
The landscape, the slant, the angle, and know that, we'll figure out how much that can produce. There was some question over there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just gonna just quickly give a time check. We've got about 5 minutes. So I kind of, I guess my question would be, what's our role in this? Well, what are you asking of the town?
Yes, so a number of things, and I put it quickly here. Excuse me. How we would cooperate, that's the right bottom corner. If there would be zoning needed, we would find a location, work, and there might be some location, it might be the town owned. So we would go to you, would you allow, we need to have for the permitting process, we need to have the acknowledgement and a permit from the owners to build such a thing there.
To access to the side of the river.
Access to the river.
Right, that's what they're looking for from the town.
From the town, if there is.
Town-owned property.
Yeah, if there is a town property, if it's a private, it's fine. Or you would like work with the town, then to work with the owner, if that would be necessary, that is, as well as to find out your projects, you might have, as I described, the resiliency zones, as well as have a program like Brattleboro is planning now to have a list of consumers, off-takers, if you will. Because now there is the program everywhere, you can have electricity, either the non-green or the green, and you get that on the bill, and there are different rates, this and that. So we're also trying to push or support rather advance, if you will, Vermont government, they have plans by 2050 have like 60 or 90% electricity generated locally. So this is part of the big scheme of things. They are looking mostly started rather with the wind and solar. Somehow they omitted water, but we already communicated with the actually government. They have also a state assistance program for this. And they are in green, I mean, with us on it, and we actually put one of the already, they need to organize the ANR FERC, go to visit and help to fill up the permits and all that kind of stuff in support to build this thing. And that kind of counts, if you will, towards the energy comprehensive plan state of Vermont has. And each county, and I didn't put it in here, it was too much information. Each county has their own plan kind of derived from the state plan for the energy, not just the reduction, but how you generate it if you can. We have, for example, another in the Rutland. Also, we actually found old one from like in 1920s. And there is all canals still existent. The powerhouse is kind of dilapidated, but the canal is solid. So we're going to clean it up and use that. The water is there. There are some advantages not to do it on the river, but in the canals by the river. In the permit process, it's called conduit, meaning the canal, the conduit already has a different purpose or had a purpose, so it's not the river. So you have less environmental restrictions to go through, and the ANR process is significantly faster. And again, the canal is already meant for this kind of use. So it's much easier to build, is very unified rather than the river is, all over the place. So that's what we're utilizing and looking for, as you know, you may know. In Vermont, there was 1,200 of these small power plants across the whole state, starting 1906 or thereabouts. And the big peak was 20s, 30s, till about 50s, then it kind of slowed down. And now it's about 150 or so functioning, the small one, and the rest is either recreation, dilapidated, or sitting there. So we are trying to also reuse these, because back then, maybe it was more water, but with the new technology, we can do better. For example, there are some other ones like in Springfield, and in the summer, because the water is very low, they have to shut it off because there is not enough water flow to spin the turbines. And those are the older style. They're the cross flows, which they can have a low head, but you need a lot of water to spin it. So this is a special Kaplan, if you know Kaplan turbine, adjusted this land because of this slow water flow, and also for the fish to flow through. So it is new technologies, and you don't have to have this high spin ratio. We can allow to, even with the low water like these days, to generate electricity.
So the 3 properties that you had on there are not town-owned properties?
Yeah, that might be.
They're private?
But the only one I was not sure is on the right side. is your existing power plant.
Yeah, there's already a company that's using that.
Yeah, that's a hydro lease.
Yeah, so you as a town has nothing to do with that.
Oh,
No,
we have a lease
We have a lease.
yeah.
for 50 years.
Yeah, okay.
But there is more town property going south along that river for almost, I would say, at least a half a mile of river frontage.
Yeah,
I
so,
don't know if there were any of those other
That spots that
locations.
they have identified as being suitable are
yeah, so what I'm looking for the flow.
Yeah, those are all
private.
at the time.
There are two things we're looking for, the certain amount of water flow and the elevation difference. And we need about 1 meter, which is about a yard height difference.
Yeah.
It can be on, depends on, it can be on 20 feet long distance at 1 yard, but we need to create then the canal for it and then have that flushing as the picture shows there.
Basically, if we find some stuff on town properties, access, that's all we're looking for. Can we send you an email and say, here are the addresses, and then just let us know and say, yeah,
Yeah,
we're
so
okay with
just-
it, or say, no, we're
Just
not
south of the
interested.
dam where that lease is, there's a bridge, like from that bridge south. Like,
So you would just be looking to access just preliminarily to see what the water,
Right.
if it would work,
That and to submit to what A&R as well.
that's a possible.
Right, because then they want to come down as long as they have the approval from you, then they'll meet with us on site after we go look at it ourselves, but
That's kind of correlates with your zoning and all this.
yeah, every town is different.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's controlled by you.
no, so what do you guys do? As far as the ownership of it, you guys lease it to a property owner, you build it, and then you pay, like, how does that all work?
That can be also the versions of it.
Okay, so you don't have like one set model that you work with a property
Depends
owner,
how
like,
there's some private owners, they want, I would like, maybe you can power my house for free or something, or I can just right away or lease you the land. Or just, okay, just build it. There are different, different people have different takes on it.
okay,
So you have some, I will even pay half of it, so I can consume some and sell together, so we share the benefits, profits, if you will, for selling through net metering. So there's a number of ways to do it.
Okay.
So you just pick the good one and we agree to it, have a contract obviously then.
okay.
And then with the.
So it's open to negotiation then, okay.
So
So I just had the thought, I'm like, if we could get one in down by the sewage treatment plant, could we power the sewage treatment plant with it?
That's another awesome solution is, it depends how big it is, we would have to find out the power, the treatment facilities.
Yeah.
Because they are kind of continuously flushing water out. And we would just need to find out how much that is. And you can have like one plant just create maybe 5 kilowatts, which is a smaller one. And it can run this whole facility for free. Or some, facility, you can be directly hooked up to it because it's right there.
Right.
Or we can generate the electricity and you can be the off takers to your, facilities.
Fire department.
What's the same,
Yeah.
emergency services, it's, if they're close enough. just-
And the other option is again, the resiliency zone, so you can put it, build a storage space for it. So you have continuous 24/7 electricity when that goes out. And this is 24/7, water is getting in all the time, so outage is only if there is no water or something happened to the machine. The lifespan is about 25 years.
How big are your turbines?
Depends on how much water is going
Okay.
through it. So if you have like the minimum is about 1 meter cubical second. And that's about diameter of 5 feet, the whirlpool would be,
Okay,
and about 2.5, 3 feet tall, the whirlpool.
what would the power output be on one that small?
That would be about 5 to 7 to 10 kilowatts.
Okay,
Depends on the height. So if you have higher, you can double the turbines on the same water, so you spin 2 turbines instead of 1. So it's all these variables to count, and then you come up with the design. But the minimum of the minimum, we would actually build, because it's expense and you have to do a lot of work, and the benefits and the work, 25 kilowatts would be kind of optimal to start from. These rivers, they can handle somewhere between the big one, 300, 350 kilowatts, the larger ones, on average about 100 to 150 kilowatt size. You can make them Daisy chain, you can have a number of them on the river. Like we are planning for the canal in Rutland to build two. And they made it. So you can daisy chain, and one depends on the size, be about 50 kilowatts. The small one, I guess, they will be around 200,000 to build. And the build itself would be 2.5 to 3 months, depends on the particular location, and how much you need to do. It might be less or more, depends on the landscape there. And, so roughly it's about $2,000 a kilowatt, kind of estimation. But again, it depends wildly, it depends on the actual location. It's very location driven. You're not building any weirs or any dams or anything, just maybe side canal, or maybe narrower some section in the river to narrow the water going to the turbine. But it all depends, and I can give you some links, the actual existing ones, so you see how that works. You can do that.
What's your,
If it's not town property, and I think those 3 sites aren't town property, then there's really nothing for us to consider here, correct? It would be a private agreement, and the town would not be that involved. If you find sites that are town-owned property, then I think what you're looking for from us is a lease for the property so that the construction can take place. And I'm not sure about the rest of it. And I think we need to validate what the town's benefits are, right? If the electricity is going into the grid, I think we've seen this before, where we don't get the benefits of some other projects that the solar and stuff. I don't think we're really seeing a huge benefit to the town for that kind of stuff.
so we get a net metering rate similar to the other hydro plant.
Right, but you don't see an appreciable difference in anybody's rates, right?
I'd like to move on from this presentation. I think we're there's not a town piece of property that's here. I think I think you got to go to the landowner and go from there and see where this moves forward. The only thing I see with the town is possibly running the sewage treatment plant and incorporating into with the VORAC grant, and I can have Rebecca reach out to these gentlemen and see if that's going to be, a viable option.
We can build the one for you if you will, and so you have the benefits. That would be a good example, I guess, the water treatment. So you would just pay us, or we can agree how we can do it to build it for you. And the benefits, the net metering or running the water plant, water treatment plant, that would be your use, your benefit, if you will.
I didn't know what Green Mountain agreement you have right now. Are you guys locked into?
We are not locked into anything.
As far as net metering goes.
So how it works is there are 2 options for selling if you want to sell.
Mm-hmm.
But it depends who owns it. So if you town would own it, you town sell it to the grid, and you town benefit whatever the 17 cents a kilowatt is right now. So you can agree to rebuild it and maintain it for you, if you will. Smaller one that will be just right for that, and then you would get the net metering for 25 years, which should be trickling down some pennies, but amounts to some more pennies. How you calculate is a 5 kilowatts times 24 hours, that many kilowatts at 24 hours, times 365, times 25 years. That's from this, it kind of grows to this. The maintenance is minimal, so you can have a contract or agreement that you maintain it like 2 or 3 times a year, visit there, removing parts to fix, and if there is some other outage. We also have the what you call IoT, Internet of Things connectivity to it. So the sluice and everything is automatic. If it's not enough water, we'll open it to the max. If it's too much water, we'll regulate how much water goes in it, and can also regulate how much output you want out of it based on the consumption. Or you can just go full and We have the net metering with the Green Mountain Power. Whatever you burn, we consume, and they say the power plant. And then you have net metering right after the power plant. So the leftover electricity you don't burn goes to the grid, and they are metering or net metering. So you're selling it effectively to the grid. And then
I think we need, I don't want to interrupt here, but I think we need to stop this where we're at, so to speak. Because now we're jumping all over the place. We're net metering, we're putting the cart way before the horse on this one. I think we need some information in writing to the select board on this stuff. And then we can decide what we're gonna do with it. I think we have a lot of questions. I think if we have a presentation on paper, then we can certainly discuss it and maybe move forward or maybe not. I don't know. But I think at this point right now, we're just everywhere. We have multiple questions, and I think we could go on with this presentation for 2 hours. So I kind of want to cut it short. I'm not trying to be rude, but I think we're just everywhere, and we're not prepared to even come close to making a decision on any of this. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not. I don't want to speak for the entire board, and I apologize for that, but I'm not ready to make any sort of a decision on any of this right now. It's going to be a while for me.
Agreed.
I think I can mirror that. However, I would also say that hydropower is tried and true, and it's been around for quite a while, and
no doubt
the innovation's there. And of course, we have the river, but I think we need more parameters around what's actually being asked. And really more.
Yeah, and if they even identify any plausible locations on town property. Other than that, feel free to talk to any private landowner you want.
If we have anything for you guys, we'll send an email and you can another discussion another time.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Well, hang on. There is a hand up. I just
There's a
want
hand up.
Public comment.
What was there?
Jim, it looks like Jim has a question, so.
I guess I'm only going to ask the question of, well, actually,
Could you state your name, please?
I'm sorry, Jim Kosas, North Mason Hill Road. I guess my only question is, because this may sound like a good idea, it may not, but I'm just curious, according to our listers and everything else, who owns property when it comes to the river? I mean, when someone's property is along the river, does the property line go to the middle of the river? And then what liabilities are all involved? I mean, I know, yes, there are a lot of questions, but I just wanted to know who is owning this property where they could put access at a private property, but it's then put into the river. Who's responsible for that then? I thank you very much. I don't want an answer. I don't want to prolong this anymore. Have a good night.
Answer the state and the feds
yeah,
in the water.
Big one on that.
I don't want to try to answer that question right now. I'm going forward from this. It's a great point. That's something that definitely has to be researched out by somebody other than us.
Yeah, so that's what we just want to shake the tree, if you will, food for the thought. Didn't expect any decision on anything really, just to kind of start a conversation, if you will. That's what it was.
And I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I would say if you find any plausible properties and somebody wants to go for it, I don't think there's any zoning regulations against it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
thank you for the presentation.
Thank you.
Let's move right into the tax rate.
What Ellen said there.
Let me say so.
Thank you.
That would be great. I make a motion to set the 2022 tax rate as stated on page 1. Homestead rate of 1.9448, $75 for bond. Non-residential rate of 2.1431, $75 for bond.
Excuse me.
She made the motion.
Second.
Any discussion, questions, comments? Okay. I'll entertain, or have a motion, sorry. All those in favor? Angie,
Aye.
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Perfect.
And this packet of tax information is available, in the archive as well. I had a request earlier for it, so.
And I make a motion to go into executive for legal.
Second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Angie?
I
Are we gonna take action?
don't know.
You
You
might.
might.
We may be taking action. We may be taking action. That's what I thought. Okay. Oh, sorry, Angie,
I
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Mike, aye.
Recording stop. Recording
Motion
in
to
progress.
come out of executive session for personnel.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Angie,
I
Jamie,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Mike, aye.
And me, aye.
Sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, Brian. I apologize.
I see how it is, Mike.
Yeah, see how important you are? Sorry, Brian.
It's all right. I get the same treatment at home.
I'd like to make a motion for a salary adjustment for the treasurer's position, effective immediately.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, Angie,
I
Jamie,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Mike, aye.
You're so wanted now.
So moved.
So all that's left is public comment and adjournment.
Public comment.
Jim has his hand up.
Of course you do.
Jim?
Guys, yeah, hi, I'm sorry about that. Jim Costas, Mason Hill Road. First of all, number one, I'm sorry that Rebecca's not on the Zoom. What I'd like to know is just number one, I wanted to ask her, and if Tara could please just refer this to her so she can watch it. I'd like to just find out if it was properly warned to have an executive session, since it wasn't on the agenda. Number two, if the motion was properly agreed upon without the necessary information of what the purpose was for maybe legal. And number three, I'm not sure, was the motion to come out of executive session, or was there a motion? I mean, unfortunately, Tara, just so you know, it's kind of hard when you kind of let us in a little late and certain things, but the motion was for an increase in salary. Maybe just letting us know what the increase in salary was. Sounds good. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. I will state that in a regular select board meeting, we can add executive sessions. And I'm pretty positive of that. We will look into it though. In a special or an emergency meeting, we cannot.
Correct.
That's correct.
Is there any more public comment, Hannah?
No, that's it.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, Rebecca.
Third.
All those in favor, Angie,
I
Jamie,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Bob,
Aye.
Mike, aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.
Cat TV is celebrating 30 years of community media. Help support Cat TV's next 30 years by becoming a member today. Your membership will help us continue covering meaningful, local content. Thank you for supporting your local community media station.